Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
it's time for our first scout report since the Kiernan Dewsbury Hall saga. Oh my word, that was a bad one. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod, and I'm joined in a virtual room filled with I've got Berth OG Lion, but I've got a guest Lion. Oh yeah, I've got Jake from very loyal and great listener from the Discord. So I want to give Jake a warm welcome before I do my welcome to the Friday show on a Friday. But welcome Jake, and thank you for helping us out tonight.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me on. So I think we tried to get on earlier in the season, I think, but it was a bit difficult. But yeah, saw your message and thought I'd jump on and help you out. So yeah, hopefully I can bring some good discussion and talk about this kid that apparently everyone going nuts about.
I tell you, we will get onto Mr. Quenda. When I saw the Lamine Yamal come comparison, I was like, I'm not doing this. We're not starting that. That's the next new Messi thing. Right. What? Of course, I have to do it. What I want to know. What are we all looking forward to this weekend? What are we? Come on.
See, I thought with Chris and Ollie not being on, that I could pull through and give you a really good, entertaining highlight of my weekend. But I'm going to let the team down here and not have anything because I'm having a real quiet one. It's not paid out yet. Quiet, chilled, few beers. Football is back. League and the FA Cup. We still don't play, which is a good thing and bad thing. But nice chilled one for me this weekend, I think.
Oh man, payday not usually, isn't it the 28th, which is like today? Isn't that your
last day of the month for me? And let me tell you, I am running low.
Oh, I used to be paid weekly on one job. That was weird.
Weekly was the best pay. If we're going down this route here, right, my opinion, my honest opinion, weekly pay is the best. Last Friday of the month is second best, and then last day of the month is by far the worst.
Oh, I'd agree with that. That was the joys of me working in events. So it was like weekly. I don't know why. There's some jokes I could make here that are totally inappropriate from the events industry that I know about, but we'll leave that for the events podcast. Jake, what are you looking forward to?
Well, but to be honest, my weekends, every weekend just consist of football. My son plays twice a week, plays Saturday and Sunday. So be there tomorrow, be there Saturday, and then some Mother's Day stuff on Sunday. But that's basically my life: driving to football matches, watching football matches, and try not to pull my hair out at Chelsea football matches. So
no, it's a struggle for all of us, to be fair.
Yeah, we do struggle. Yeah, we have to. The fact that there's a lot of half the time we have to then go. We've watched it, and then I'm going to watch the highlights back of that Chelsea game to find out some details I missed. I'm like, I have to. This is boring. I'm fed up.
It's a problem for me as well because I'm losing my hair, so I've not got much hair left to pull out. So. Yeah, it's a real problem.
I can't. If listeners know, mine's like on my chest. So there you go. Viking, think that.
Yes, well, I'm jealous, Mikey. All right, I'm jealous.
What you should be jealous of is my games of the weekend. With that little segue, look, we're all times the GMT as always. And God, Saturday. What am I kicking off with? 12:30 p.m. We got Charlton versus Huddersfield in League One. That's just, I thought, why not? Two playoff contenders battling to stay in the mix. And there's Coventry play tonight. So I was so tempted to put them in because they're playing Sheffield United. And I thought that might be a really good game. But by the time you're listening to this, listener, it's finished. So whatever. Coventry probably won that 1-0. But of course, I love to take a trip around the globe. And on Saturday, Norway's Elite Serien returns at 3 p.m. with Sturm Gotze versus Rosenborg. It's a fresh season. Oh, I can't wait. It's not quite the Danish league, but it's Scandinavian, so I'm happy. I'm happy. And then for the FA Cup quarterfinals, if you're picking just one, I'd go for Brighton versus Forest at 5:15 p.m. because both teams play fun attacking football, and I don't think we see that enough with the Chelsea men. So enjoy that game. And Sunday, if you're up early or just never went to bed, Club America take on Tigres at 2:05 a.m. So that's first versus third in Liga MX. I think that's pretty worth a late night coffee. I think I'm not going to stay up that late to watch it. I'll probably watch the highlights of that. In the Netherlands though, a late bit later on in the day, PSV Ajax 1:30. That's pretty good. And then in the evening, I got two games for you. It's a tough choice because at 8 p.m. you got the Seville derby, Betis versus Sevilla, and then at 7:45, so a bit earlier than that, Napoli AC Milan. I mean, that's pretty good. I probably edged. I don't know. I like the Seville derby a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know what you think. What do you think, guys?
Good games. I'll be honest with you. I'll be one of those people that's watching the Coventry Sheffield United game. And I am such a big advocate for the Championship, and I will
You do
watch.
love it, yes.
I will. I don't know why, but I've got like a real soft spot for it. I'd watch the Championship over La Liga, Serie A, Liga, and I don't know why. I just love it. I'll watch every single game that's on TV. So that'll be my highlight. But is it AC Milan Napoli? Did you say, Mikey?
Yeah.
That'll be a very, very good game because Serie A is very tight at the minute as well. So that'll be a very good game.
I'm just annoyed that no one picks the MLS. Like, I love it. It's literally the Championship, but in America. I'm telling you, it's that competitive.
No,
Oh.
no, it's not. No,
It
it's not.
is.
Nothing against the MLS. I don't watch it as much as the Championship, but nah, the Championship's like my little baby brother that I love.
Do you watch much of the Championship, Jake?
Yeah, so anyone, or maybe some keen Discord people will remember. So I've actually got a season ticket at Bristol City. They're my second team. Yeah, did that. I mean, that's incredibly interesting this year. It's essentially there's obviously 4 playoff spots, but the third and fourth that are gone. Right, you've got Burnley and Sunderland that are running away with those. So you've got basically 2 playoff spots and teams down to like 12th of all within a shout of getting them. So it is incredibly tight. Bristol themselves have got Burnley this week, which will be
tough game.
Tough. Well, I mean, they've conceded 11 goals this season, which is just insane.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, it's going to be a hell of a last 8 games of the season.
That is for sure. Before we dive into news, we have got a Shevva shout out, but not in the usual sense. So obviously, before we always highlight the incredible initiative coming up by our partners head in the game, which is a free 12-week mental fitness football program aimed at improving both mental and physical well-being for men over 18. Obviously, the next one's coming up in Bexley, starting on Wednesday the 9th of April at 6 p.m. at Lee Academy 3G. So obviously, we always promote that. And last episode, I asked if any listeners had attended the program in Dartford. And on Tuesday morning, in our DMs, we had a message off George. He's given us permission to read out his message and use his name. He put, "Hiya guys, I would just like to thank you for promoting the Head in the Game charity football in Dartford the other week. First session was amazing. I think it can really help me towards improvement." And honestly, that made my entire week. Genuinely made my week. The fact that our show helped someone is it's so good. It's so incredible. And I'm just so proud of what like all of us have built here. The community, Discord, we've got Jake on from the Discord. The community is so strong. And the fact that someone listened to our show and then obviously heard of our partnership, heard of the program going on, and it's been a positive on them. I can't say anymore. Worth every single second we've done an episode. All 5 years, worth it.
I mean, Mike, obviously, me and you start this podcast. It's actually so heartwarming to see this, and obviously Jake being on as well. It's really nice to get to talk to Jake and stuff like that, and having people know about it, and it still baffles my mind to this day. it's so heartwarming for me. And it's just really good to hear every time.
Yeah, because look, we started it for fun, and then obviously Chris joins, Ollie joins, and the fact that that's the thing. It's got that legacy. One person, and I always said that. Even one person, if you help one person, that means everything because it's more than zero, and that's the thing. It's that will always be the thing. So yeah, we're really glad, and we hope that more people who obviously have gone through our show that probably haven't messaged us about it, got a lot of it out of it and are still getting a lot out of it. So yeah, always it's very important. With that, we are going to hit some news. I look for the message. There it is. Oh, okay, right. Let's check out the news you may have missed. In the elevator, Chelsea news. Chelsea are still expected to sign Jadon Sancho permanently in the summer, despite the emergence of a get-out clause. Chelsea are quite happy with Jadon Sancho, and the player is happy at Chelsea. He'd love to stay, but it depends on what happens in the next few months. There is still a possibility for Christopher Nkunku to leave Chelsea in the summer. Chelsea Supporters Trust has asked the Premier League to act and investigate co-owner Todd Bowley's involvement in ticket reselling website Vivid Seats. Aston Villa and Newcastle are among clubs keeping an eye on Chelsea's winger Noni Madueke. There will be no stand-by-stand renovation of Stamford Bridge in terms of the costs involved, the disruption and the limited ability to improve matchday experience or capacity. Such a revamp is not regarded as feasible. And finally, Chelsea face falling very far behind on the future of Stamford Bridge and a new stadium, of which I have a full summary of that article right in front of me from The Athletic. One fun thing, do you want to talk about that Chelsea team of 120 first?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not quite sure where the logic comes from, but yeah, we can talk about
Careful, we're knocking the entire fan base that voted there.
I still don't know if it's logical or not, but yeah.
At least they all play in their proper positions. That's nice. You haven't got like how these 11s work. I mean, I will pull the 11 up in a minute. I can remember it to a degree, but I'm also stupid enough not to remember any of it. So who did we have? We had Cech in goal. Here we are. Cech, Aspi, Thiago Silva, Terry, Cole, Makaleli, Lampard, Kante, Zola, Hazard, and Drogba. I mean, Jake, what did you think about that 11 overall?
I mean, when I first looked at it, I was like, it seems pretty fair. But the more I looked at it, I thought that has just been put together, or that's been voted by anyone that's under the age of about 30. Like, there's no players in there apart from Zola from like the 90s, or even older than that. I don't disagree with too many, I wouldn't say. But I think there's others that you could put in from older. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think like Zola definitely, like that's where the 25 in my name comes from. Fun fact. Was my favorite player growing up. I'm not sure I'd put Kante in there necessarily. I think if you've got Makaleli, I'd maybe put someone else in. But other than that, I think it's pretty fair. Certainly for the people that would have done the survey, I think it's probably as strong as you're going to get.
Berth, I was shocked. He's right. Jake's spot on with the players before like the 90s. I was shocked that Jimmy Greaves and Osgood went in there. Because, I mean, it depends who's voting. I mean, if it is obviously that younger generation or our generation, it's going to be a bit of recency bias. You're going to remember. Because Drogba, legend. I'm not going to go and knock Drogba here. But Jimmy Greaves had a goal ratio of 132 goals in 169 games. I'm sorry, but Greaves is going in there.
The thing is, right, with people that are going to vote on this, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I am only 31. I've never seen Jimmy Greaves play. I wouldn't put Jimmy Greaves in just for the simple fact that I've not watched him play. So I see that logic. And that's probably why this team looks how it is. It is interesting. I don't actually think it's... I wouldn't put Makaleli and Kante in there. This could be a real controversial opinion. I'd put Kante over Makaleli. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'd definitely have Thiago Silva and Terry in there. Zola, Hazard, Drogba, yeah. Lampard, yeah. Ashley Cole, yeah. Chet, yeah. Azpilicueta is an interesting one because I like that Azpilicueta is in there because I think I would probably have him over Ivanovic. But Ivanovic in his prime was unbelievable. So good.
It's like you read what I'd wrote. I put, if we're talking, that was the biggest shock for me. Everyone was up in arms that Thiago Silva got in over Carvalho, but no one's getting probably past the midfield of Makelele and Kante, so it don't matter who you got in defence. But that big shock for me was Aspi over Ivanovic, because if we're talking legend status, like legend, I would put Azpilicueta edges it, in my opinion, on legend. But if you're judging purely on talent in their prime, I'm taking Ivanovic. Everyone remembers how he dropped off at the end of his career, but in his prime, Ivanovic every day.
I think Azpilicueta though, for what he's done.
Oh yeah,
captain as well. I think probably arguably the most underrated fullback in the Premier League ever. Just I can see why that's happened, but in their primes, you would pick Ivanovic, but I think Azpilicueta did it. It's that longevity argument again, which everyone uses these days. So you probably would pick Azpilicueta, but yeah, primes. I'm going Ivanovic, I think.
No, were you shocked that Hazard got in over Mount?
Look, I love Mason Mount, but let's be honest. And I heard, who did I hear on TalkSport the other day?
Oh no,
I think it was Jason Cundy. Actually, I think Jason Cundy said he's the best. Hazard's the best player he's ever seen at Chelsea, and he probably is. Like technically, he probably is. So Mount was probably second in that vote, I'm sure.
See, Jake knew what he was getting himself in for. He's listened to stuff before. He knows how serious I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
Oh man. Right, this ownership thing and stadium. Oh dear me, how it rumbles on. We did say about this on Monday's episode. So obviously, Bowley's recent comments have reignited about the tensions in the Clear Lake capital bubble. But this stadium thing, this is the big issue, really. You know, they've ruled out stand by stand renovation. So obviously, you've got full Stamford Bridge rebuild or moving to Earls Court. Both are complex, both are costly. Bowley apparently favours Earls Court. Clear Lake is undecided. So, of course, they're just sitting on the fence. Whatever pleases anyone, I guess. Obviously, since taking over in 22, the owners have obviously pushed back stadium announcements. And obviously, that's upset most of us. Everton's new stadium obviously pushes us now down to 10th for the capacity in the league. We're going to continue falling behind in the matchday revenue. That's a fact. If we keep stalling. Club president is Jason Gannon. He's got experience from obviously LA SoFi Stadium. I'm going to talk on that in a minute. He's leading the feasibility studies, and fan engagement has been well received, apparently. Obviously, any stadium moving requires approval from the Chelsea pitch owners. Obviously, they've got to present a compelling plan that the CPO will approve of, and that's, I think, why people were worried about this CFCLDN logo. And, you know, doing nothing is not an option. We need this new stadium. We need the long-term financial benefit from it, you know, like it or not. Spurs have aced it with their stadium. It's one of the best in the world, and it brings in a lot of money. I mean, how do you feel about this? Because, you know, this is really good when, you know, we've got a fan on. Jake, how do you feel about this whole stadium saga?
I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bored of hearing about it and talking about it. Like, it's something that has been on the radar really since Abramovich took over. You know, at one point we were going to buy Battersea Power Station, and that was going to be the stadium. That never happened. Then it was going to be Earls Court about 10 or 15 years ago. That never happened. Then it was going to be some kind of redevelopment of Stamford Bridge. That also never happened. And now we're talking about go back to Earls Court again. I just think, like, as you say, we're falling behind every time someone else builds a new stadium or expands their current stadium, or, you know, and they just need to get on and do it now. Like, if it's Earls Court, which is a mile down the road, then yeah, just get on with it and do it. And if it means that we've got to, I don't know. I mean, I guess moving means we don't have to leave Stamford Bridge in the interim period, which maybe is better. But yeah, it just needs to be done now. All this talking is getting a bit boring.
Yeah, I can understand your point. I think the Earls Court thing, there's a lot of pressure because obviously if they agree there's planning permission going in to build stuff on it, and Yeah. So basically, if that gets approved, that's gone, and the real estate for land in London is insane. Berth, what do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bit of an old school mind when it comes to like clubs and stadiums and stuff like that. I think sort of Stamford Bridge, Goodson Park, Upton Park, even White Hart Lane to a certain extent, they've all got that history and sort of attachment to a club. So it's always not the best to leave a ground, but at the same time, sometimes you have to do it to benefit the club, and it would benefit it. But yeah, I'm kind of like Jay. To be fair, I'm just a bit bored of hearing about it and hearing all the rumours and stuff like that. I just want it to happen now.
Yeah, I can see your point. For me, look, we got having Gannon on board. I'm good with this. I'm happy with that purely because of the fact that he didn't help. He didn't physically do it, but he obviously has experience with SoFi, which is the LA Rams and Chargers Stadium in the NFL, and everyone knows my love and passion for that. I might hate the Rams, but their stadium is absolutely top class. It is brilliant. It's already hosted one Super Bowl. It's going to host another one in 2027. And it is a gorgeous stadium. You look at it, you look at how it operates on a game day for the Rams or the Chargers. The fans not often turn up, but that's not the point. But the thing is, it is absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is brilliant architecture. I would love if Chelsea had something similar. I just don't. There's so much complicated with Stamford Bridge. I love Stamford Bridge. That's why our podcast is at the bridge. The problem with Stamford Bridge, though, is there's so much handcuffs put on us because you can't build outward because of the train line, the cemetery, and other different bits. You would have to demolish the whole thing and build a new one. However, there is this legal rule where you have to see, I don't know, it's something about Notting Hill or something where you have to see the mound from a certain point. So you can't build too far up with Stamford Bridge. I really should have looked this up. That you can't build. There's a hill rule or a law. What was the law? It would help if I could find it really quick. What is it? It's something you can't build upward. I don't know. Someone help me out here. Does anyone remember this?
I think I've heard something, but we'll just call it a stupid London planning law. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, yeah, if I can find it as well, Stamford Bridge.
There is, I get it. I mean, the rule is the rule, but that causes a problem. You can't build up then. And look, I would not, I still think that something's going to end up where right now I would expect us to be, I'd expect it to be a move to Earl's Court. I really think that. But if that plot gets sold and, well, when I say sold, planning permission approved, I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't. I guess you got no option. You got to demolish the bridge and build up again. You'd have no choice because, like I said, real estate in London is not just a premium. It's like a unicorn of a unicorn. That's you gotta do it quick, otherwise someone else is gonna take it. On that, we're gonna move to Kingsmeadow Corner because Chelsea took on Manchester City in the Champions League. Chelsea 3, Manchester City 0. We take the 4-game series 3-1, and Aaron Oliver, he was there. He was on the ground, and he wasn't at Kingsmeadow. It was Stamford Bridge, but that's not the point. I want to know what he said. I actually haven't heard this, so this is the first time I'm going to hear this. So let's play it.
Hello, listeners. This is Ollie. I'm sitting here in the Stamford Bridge Copthorne Hotel after watching the 3-0 demolition job from the Chelsea women's side as they have trounced Man City to go through to the next round of the Champions League. And, I'm sitting here after that game. You can probably hear it in my voice. I've been screaming for a couple hours. It was an absolutely unbelievable game. Brilliant atmosphere from the bridge. Everyone was pulling together for the fan base. We were really rocking tonight at the bridge. It was really nice to hear it. And in terms of the game itself, I thought we were excellent. We won every battle that we had, especially in the middle of the pitch. They had some good moments, but we were a team out there. I could see we fought and died for each other on that pitch tonight. is the best game of the season, and it wasn't even close. It was an absolutely unbelievable performance. And in this 4-game run against Man City, we have come away decidedly the victors. Cuthbert specifically in that second half was immense, dragging the team up the pitch, driving up, just whittling the game down as a perfect part of the game plan. Some great goals from Baltimore, James and Bjorn. Baltimore, Ramirez and Bjorn. Although James had a great game as well. She's even more ridiculous watching her in the flesh. She is crazy good. Johanna eating Canarid as well. She was running them ragged all game. I thought Captain put in a really, really good defensive performance as well. Best game of the season. Like I said, they might have won the battle, but we've won the war. Sonia Bonpastor is absolutely an incredible manager. I'm in awe of her. But the hard work's not finished. Barcelona are waiting for us. You have to beat them at some point, and that we've got them next in the semi-final, I think. And if we want to capture that Champions League title, we have to at least be that good in both legs to even have a sniff. Come on, you Blues, up the Chelsea.
Oh yes, what a historic night in the history of the club. Honestly, you're the guest. What was your overall takeaway, Jake?
So I watched the highlights. I didn't catch the game yesterday, but I think before the game, I just felt like they were going to do it. I just felt like there was something that meant that they were able to turn that around. I think the fact that we beat them at the weekend and beat them with a very late winner probably massively helps because you've got one over on them psychologically and also from a results perspective as well. So I think that probably helped going into yesterday's game. But yeah, it's a contrast to the men's team, isn't it? You expect these women to actually put in a performance and get a result. So I'm not surprised they did. And I think once that first goal, which was after 15 minutes, somewhere around there. I wasn't surprised to see a couple more go in. But I think they did well to manage the game in the second half as well. Because obviously at that point City only needed a goal to make things interesting. So yeah, I did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, Berth, I'm going to wax lyrical in a minute about all the best things about it, including about myself, which is. But Berth, how did you feel going through that game? How did you feel the emotions?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminded me of the time where we played. The men's team played Man City when we had like 3 times in the space of like a couple of weeks. It was like the semi-final of the FA Cup, then it was in the league, and then the Champions League final. It was like that. That's how it felt, but it's never in doubt with this team. I've said it numerous times. They are relentless, and I think for me, Lauren James is phenomenal. She was so good last night. Whenever it was, I thought she was fantastic, and yeah, all round just unbelievable performance. Ali's right; it was definitely the best performance we've had this season. I thought Baltimore was very good, all round dominant performance. And Jake made a good point. It was like when we beat him in the last minute on the weekend. It was just a good momentum, so key in football, and I think winning in the last minute sort of helped us and had that mindset change. And it would have affected Man City and it affected us, and that shift you could tell in the game. And yeah, for me, great performance, and it's just an unbelievable team. And Bonpastor's just doing an amazing job.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll make it all about them. Let me just say one thing about myself. In the Discord earlier this week, I said, and I quote, I say we win 3-0 if we score within 20 minutes. And everyone knows I'm either spot on, I hit it out of the park, or I absolutely smack my face in the ground wrong. And we did. We did it, and we did it within the 20-minute mark. We got at 14th minute, got that goal. And that's the thing. It's then the mindset of we only need one more. We only need one more. And we got it. And then we got a third. And Lauren James, wow. What? Honestly, well, another world-class performance. Sonia Bonpastor has truly unlocked Lauren this season. She's playing some of her best football of her career. Her work rate was second to none. I've never seen her play. She was just on it. She pressed well. She defended well. She attacked well. The whole team was brilliant. We outplayed Manchester City. Absolutely outplayed them. Bjorn, top-class performance. A great signing. Dominated that backline. I mean, she was amazing. The entire team were amazing. Erin, Myra, I could name the entire 11. They were amazing, front to back. And I'm just so proud. And the tone was set very early. Lauren James, she had that straight away, that first chance within a few minutes. And you thought, I think it might have been Chris in our little chat was like, should have finished that. And it's like, but if we're doing that after a few minutes, is this going to drop off? Or are we going to continue? We just continued. We absolutely continued. And then you could argue that Ramirez's shot wasn't the greatest of shots to go in, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what champions do. We score goals that make no sense. That
Goals are goal.
First touch. And that's it. A goal is still a goal. You know, that third goal, no one cares about how it went in. They just care that we won 3-0. And it means that, yeah, we take on Barcelona. Barcelona just, they only casually put the 10 in aggregate past Wolfsburg, which, what do you expect? What do you expect from them? It's interesting. It's
easy game. Easy game.
Standard for them. It's very interesting because obviously Champions League semis, you've got Arsenal, Lyon, and Chelsea, Barca. And the thing is, we're going to play Barca at some point. We're either going to play them in the final or we're playing them in the semi-final. Could have played them in the quarterfinal if things had gone very wrong, considering Barcelona were lost to Man City in the first group game. Lyon and Chelsea and Barca are the only teams left. No. Lyon and Chelsea, sorry, are the only teams with a perfect Champions League record, aren't they, really? In the group stage, I mean. And Barcelona, we know, can be beaten. We've done it before. 2 legs is going to be insane. And, you know, we've got to be on it for both legs because, you know, they'll punish us. They'll destroy us. That's just what it is. That's what Barcelona do. I think fair play to Arsenal. You know, they've done very well to be in the semi-finals of the Champions League, especially considering their absolute insane season of ups and then very much down and down. Barcelona, tough one. I mean, Jake, we know what Barcelona can do at their best. I think we've got to have faith there, haven't we?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's as you said, if you want to win these competitions, you've got to beat them, right? It's you know, they're going to be there. You're either going to get them in the semis or the final, and it's just a hurdle that we've got to overcome. But if we can do it, you know, this team will, you know, well, they'll be legends, won't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, incredibly difficult, especially that away leg. But hopefully we can, you know, pack the bridge for the home leg and get it over the line.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting as well the story with Lyon, because obviously if you have a look at the French Division 1, Lyon are top, obviously 52 points, but their goal difference is insane. They've got plus 77, and then PSG is second with plus 30. They've scored 82 goals and conceded 5, and it's got that narrative, hasn't it? Sonia takes Chelsea to the Champions League final, takes on Lyon. Like, no disrespect to Arsenal here. I'm not being disrespectful, but I would rather watch Lyon and Sonia's Chelsea than Arsenal Chelsea again, because we get that in the WSL. I don't want that. I like the story. I like the Lyon side of it. That'd be so exciting. I mean, we've got Barcelona first. We've got to get past them. You know, that's a very good team. We know what the damage they can do. So, yes. Right, on to. So today we're gonna dive into the latest addition to Chelsea's ranks, Geovany Quenda. He's another wonder kid. Yeah, I know, with potential. It never ends. A name you might not have been familiar with until now, but trust me, this scout report will age better than the doomed Kiernan Dewsbury Hall one. I promise. So
will it?
Yeah, I bloody hope so. To be fair, this guy's played Champions League. Did Dewsbury Hall? I think he did qualifying, didn't he, or something? I don't know. Look. I've broke down his style of play, his strengths, his weaknesses, and most importantly, what he brings to Chelsea. And have I filtered in some band song references? Maybe I've already done it before, listener. Maybe they're already in the episode. But obviously, first things first. Let's introduce Quenda properly. So he was born in Guinea-Bissau. He began his footballing journey with Sport Football Damenes before catching the attention of Benfica. However, due to Benfica not offering him a place in their academy, he ended up at Sporting CP. Fast forward a few years, and he's now one of the most highly rated young wingers in Europe. Let's be honest. Have you guys watched much of him before the move?
Absolutely not. No.
I know more about quantum mechanics than this guy, unfortunately. But What was your initial reaction when we signed him? Like, let's be honest. I was like, that's a lot of money.
It's just the problem is because we're signing so many young kids and young talents. You just think, oh, it's just another one of them. But
It's a
to
shame,
be
isn't it?
fair, all the reports I've seen, all the clips I've seen, this and to be fair, he does play for Sporting, good academy, playing in Champions League. From what I've watched, he does look sharp.
Yeah.
But still, there's that hesitancy. Do we need him? Very young. Is he going to be ready? There's a lot of questions still.
Yeah, you're not wrong. What was your initial reaction, Jake?
Yeah, but pretty similar. You know, we've signed a lot of youngsters over the last sort of 18 months or so. Obviously, you see the fee and you think, hang on, excuse me. But yeah, I mean, similar sort of thing. You know, he's what, 16? Is he 17? 17. A lot of it is just what does he go on to do? Like, he might look good now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be good in 18 months' time when he joins us, or in 5 years' time. I think, yeah, it's one of those that you see clips of him and he looks good, but you kind of have to also take that with a bit of pinch of salt and look at, you know, where he's playing, and as I'm sure we'll get to it, but I think it's good. You know, he's at least playing in a decent league, right? You know, Portuguese league is pretty strong. The playing in the Champions League, it's not like we've signed someone from, you know, a league in you know, somewhere where it's not competitive, and you sort of have to think, well, you know, they're playing against inferior opposition. At least that's not the case with this kid. But
yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, for me, the last time I was genuinely excited about a player that we signed, which was a player for the future, I'm talking like 20 years ago. It's probably John Obi Mikel when we got him from Lyn Oslo, technically via Man United. That was a lot. Like, you could go through all the players that we signed after him. I mean, you could say, oh, what about Hazard? He wasn't for the future. You know, we didn't sign Hazard for the future. We signed him because he was bloody good then, and we knew he'd be an instant game changer. We didn't do that with Mikel, and obviously Quenda, he's not going to instantly up us, you know, take us to a next level. I mean, he's only 17, and obviously he made his professional debut for Sporting in the Portuguese Super Cup against Porto, but he did play all 120 minutes, scored an absolute amazing acrobatic goal, and obviously that made him the club's youngest ever goal scorer. So that's always a thing. But yeah, I won't lie to you, I hadn't really heard much about him before we signed him. I'd heard that United were tracking him, but obviously I didn't really pay much attention because it's Man United. I'm like, whatever. It is impressive for a 17-year-old to not just debut, but to do it in a major final, especially against Porto. I mean, I think the thing is, it says a lot about his mentality, because to be put in that situation, you can sink or swim, and he thrived. I mean, can't say fairer than that, you know, attempting any acrobatic attempt in a cup final and scoring 17. I think that's pretty insane. You know, I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, he's got confidence in it, and at the end of the day, he's clearly a talented kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at that age, everyone's always fearless. Everyone's always trying these things. It's how he's going to be when he's 20, 21. Will injuries affect him? Like I said, there's going to be so many questions that will need to be answered. Is he ready? Obviously, he likes a big occasion now, but, you know, could he drift off? Could he adapt? That's the main question that I've got. Could he adapt? He's really, really talented. No doubt about that. He's got all the attributes, but can he adapt? And if he don't, then what?
Yeah,
and this is the problem.
You're right, because when you're 17, 18, you are fearless. I mean, I did so many stupid things: skateboards, longboards, tricks on my bike that, you know, would I do them now at 31? I'd be absolutely fucking terrified because I'm going to snap my leg and then cry because it really hurts when you break your bones. You know, I mean, but looking at him, he's explosive. He's a dynamic winger. He thrives in one-on-ones, which always good. We keep asking about that sort of talent in our team. He you know, he's got incredible close control. He's quick feet, and he's happy to take on defenders, multiple. He doesn't mind. And unlike many young dribblers, he also possesses a strong footballing IQ already. He knows when to release that ball. He knows when to attack the space. And statistically, I brought my research. He's been impressive. He's got 72.7% take on completion rate He's got 79.2% dual win rate, and he gets 4 ball recoveries per 90. I mean, he's frequently involved in shot creating sequences, which we're begging for. I mean, we're also begging for players to finish the chances, but he's created 48 chances this season. That's the most of any player under the age of 20 playing across the entire of Europe's top 7 leagues. And what stands out for me is his adaptability, because he was trusted to play as a wing back in his debut, and that's a position that requires defensive awareness, tactical discipline, and obviously stamina, and that's not often always associated with teenage wingers, more so the awareness, the IQ, because you're still learning your trade, you're learning your craft. Do you feel like, Jake, do you think this versatility that he has will help him break into the Chelsea first team quicker than other players that we've signed?
Yeah, I mean, it will certainly help. I think one of the issues we might have, or he might have, is that obviously we've got Esteval joining in the summer. So obviously, by the time he joins, by the time Quenda joins next summer, because I think he's a 2026 signing, isn't he? Obviously, potentially, Esteval's had a full season under his belt, or involvement in a full season, and we've got, is it Kendry Paez that joins at the same time in 2026, or is he this season as well? I forget how old he is.
I think he's this season.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, but they both play or can play on the right. So when he comes in, he's going to have those, as well as Noni, Neto, Cole Palmer that obviously plays out there. Is there going to be a lot of competition for him, which I maybe worry about? Yeah, I think it certainly helps. If he can play wing back. Not that we really play wing backs properly, but there we go. But yeah, it will certainly help. It gives us options, right, to at least get him on the pitch and show what he can do. But yeah, I think that could be a point for him where he struggles, just given the amount of players we're going to have that are playing in a similar position to him.
Yeah. What do you think, Berth? Do you think he's going to break into Chelsea's first team or be loaned out on endless, loan army? He's going to be a loan army carousel player.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? And the depth of what we're going to have on the wings, I feel like that's probably our most strongest position as far as depth goes. Do I think I can see what them loaning him back to Sporting for another year and then getting him back, because that's kind of how we do business. I'd like to see one of these young players actually get a chance in the first team. If they're good enough, it doesn't matter what age they are, they're good enough for the first team. Yeah. And that's why I hope Esteval comes in and hits the ground running and gets a few starts. That's why I hope Paez comes in, has a few starts. I don't want to have 3 or 4 or 5, like 17, 18-year-olds come in and say, oh, yeah, they've really good, got really good potential, but you know what? They're not going to start the first team. What buy them then? If they're good enough, they are good enough.
Yeah, you're right.
They should start. They should affect the team. Let's not just have this as a business like sort of thing where we buy a young guy, we'll send him out on loan, then we'll sell him. If they're good enough, start them, trust them, and play them.
I was proper annoyed. Go on.
Yeah, I hope this happens. Because this kid, like I said, he does look talented, and I hope him, Esteval, Paez, I hope they start. I really do hope they start next season.
I mean, I was annoyed because Martinez never played him, because I was watching obviously the Portugal-Denmark games and he was just sat on the bench for both. I was like, play him. I just want to see him up close. I want to see, because obviously I've watched highlights. I don't watch sporting games. I just don't. I'm not going to lie. But obviously, because I was beneficial watching the Denmark game, I was like, play him. And he didn't. It was a bit of a shame, because I would have liked to have seen how we'd have handled him. But it would have been nice to just see him actually in a game with mere own eyes instead of like highlights, because we know that highlights are literally that. Highlights. They're not going to show you the negatives. And look, he's got confidence. That's a key trait. And he's attempting audacious dribbles. He's attempting long range strikes. Hopefully that won't get kicked out of his game. And intricate the passing moves. And that just shows maturity, which is always a good thing, And here's a good question I've got. Which current Chelsea player would you compare him to in terms of style, if any? Do you see any similarities with maybe former players that we've had?
I wouldn't compare him to a Chelsea player. I would compare him maybe to Bukayo Saka.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's who I'd compare him to.
Okay. I was so scared you were going to say the player I've got. Jake,
Oh, okay.
you didn't, so that's good. Jake, who would anyone Chelsea related, former, or would it be another player like Berth said?
Um, yeah, I think the Saka comparison is pretty good actually. I think, I wouldn't say he necessarily reminds me of a current Chelsea player because I don't think we've really got anyone that really takes on players and looks to cut inside and really make something happen, or certainly not with how they're allowed to play. But yeah, I think it's on that. I think like his. So I watched that clip of it was a goal he scored. I think when he was 16 or maybe even been a bit more recently. He was playing for Portugal against Morocco, but he sort of gets it just inside his own half, or just on the halfway line, and dribbles past, I don't know, 7 or 8 of the Moroccan players and cuts inside and smashes it in the bottom corner. And you look at it and you think that's an incredible goal. And you look at it again, and I watched it 3 or 4 times, and I thought the defending is shit. Like the defending is atrocious. Like no one puts a tackle in on him, no one does anything, and I just think like he's coming to the Premier League, which we all know is more physical, is more, you've got less time, less space. So how does his sort of close ball control and that kind of, is that affected? Does he have to change his style a little bit to be a bit more, bring other players into the game a bit more, because he can't just take it round 5 players.
No.
But yeah, I think he certainly looks like he's got the strength, the power, and the close control. So I think it's if he can utilize it, I think he could be very good.
Yeah. But right, I teased it. He reminds me a lot of Alphonso Davies. Primarily
Interesting.
Right. So there was a reason he's primarily used as a wing back as at this stage of his career. I want to stress that. And he's evolving gradually into a more attacking role. That's like Gareth Bale. Because remember, Gareth Bale, left back, he was not a forward. And I'm watching Quenda's first touch. He has the ability to beat a man. It's very reminiscent to me of Davies during his Vancouver Whitecaps days. And as someone who saw him in the MLS during that part of his career before he moves to Bayern, it was special. I mean, this guy, you knew watching Alphonso, you knew he was special. And yes, of course, the level of talent in the league is going to be brought into question, I know. But he just reminds me of that era, tenure, whichever type of player. And, no young player is ever the finished article. Look, they're not. He's 17. He's going to be 18 next month. And we've seen it all before. A wonder kid doesn't live up to the hype. And look, Quenda does have areas he needs to improve on. I would not be doing our listenership a good service if I didn't bring up his negatives. And he heavily favours his left foot. He avoids using his right when possible. That's always a negative. Not, he could be Iron Robin. I mean, who cares? He was just brutal. If you can do something really well, do it. His dribbling is elite, but his decision making in that final third needs improvement. He's shown composure in front of goal, but he hasn't yet proven he can be a consistent scorer. If you look, he's got 1 goal this season. And he will. Jake touched on it. He'll physically need to adapt to the Premier League's intensity, because if he doesn't, the come down from that hype will be huge. You will get literally kicked to pieces out of this league. And it's now we move to the thing that, can he develop into a regular starter for us, or if he's like more likely to be sold for pure profit, so to speak. And it's difficult. It's really difficult, because I could see him becoming a regular starter because he has all the ability there. He has the ceiling. His ceiling's insane. It's just, where does he fit? And we already have a host. You've both touched on it. We already have a host of talented young attackers. We've got Mudryk, we've got Palmer, we've got Madueke, we've got George. The list goes on, and you think, where does he fit in? We don't even know what's going on with Mudryk. It's been 120 days since that news that he was going to be banned. And look, the skill set I see with Quenda makes him an ideal impact sub initially. It's absolutely amazing. And he could be developed as a wing-back option, similar to how Sporting used him. Close control, the dribbling ability, something different, against low blocks. I suppose I'm going to ask, if you're the manager, because by the time Quenda joins, you never know who's going to be in charge. I'm sorry, I'm going to state it. How would you integrate him into this Chelsea squad? Loan him, or just go, there you go, straight first team rotation?
Like I said, like if you're good enough, you're good enough. It don't matter what age you are. Obviously, you wouldn't just throw him in straight away with our attacking options. But he's got to get game time for me. I won't put him at left back. We don't play 5 at the back, so wing back's really not an option. So I'll probably go. I think you play him on the left wing. I think, especially when you look at right wing, you can have Madueke, Neto, even Palmer there. Left wing, Sancho's there. Would you say that's the weaker of the 2 wings? I'd say yes. So, I mean, it's a good chance for him. But I wouldn't play him wing back. Definitely wouldn't play him, especially if Maresca plays. I just think it'd be a bit wasted there. So I just don't see the point in bringing a young player in who's really highly rated, who's played in finals, who's scored big goals, who's playing in Champions League. Why waste him? Why buy him in the first place? So, yeah, I'd start him. Well, I wouldn't start him, but I'd definitely integrate him as soon as possible into the team.
I mean, we've never bought a Portuguese player and for no reason whatsoever, have we? We've never done that. I can't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What do you think, Jake? What would you do? Loan him out straight first team rotation? What do you think?
No, I think I agree. I'd probably try to integrate him in the squad. I think at the end of the day, we are essentially loaning him out already, right? Because he's staying at Sporting for another season, so he's got another year of a decent league, more Champions League experience. So I'd be inclined to keep him in the squad when he joins next year. I probably would say though, like, we shouldn't necessarily jump to including him and just shoehorning him in. I think if you look at someone like Endrick at Real Madrid, he was considered to be a massive talent, the next sort of thing. But they're using him very wisely. They're not just throwing him in; that they're using him as and when they can and when the game's right. And I think ultimately that will help his development rather than throwing him in and shattering his confidence or something like that. So I think whilst he should be used, I think we need to use him wisely and not just say, well, we've got him, so we're going to play him, and he really struggles, because then that we see players disappear then if they really struggle, and especially at a young age.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose before we wrap up, it's always prediction time. I don't know what happened. I can't remember what I said with Dewsbury Hall. Chris probably was spot on, going, "No, I'm not excited," and he was spot on. Look, Quenda's been described as a future world-class talent, and while we don't want to drown in the overhype, it's clear he's got immense potential. He could be sitting on top of that throne as one of the best players in the world. Where do you see in 5 years' time? He turns 23. Is he our breakout star? Has he been moved on to pastures new or has he gone to Real Madrid because he's just that good?
It's just impossible to answer that question.
It is. I know.
That's like just sitting on the fence massively. But
you're right.
But we're buying so many of these players, and as of this moment, how many of them have turned into world beaters? Esteval hasn't played for us. Paez hasn't played for us. Quenda hasn't come to us yet. Obviously, we bought Palmer, who's a young talent. He's obviously been phenomenal.
I don't think the hype was there for Palmer.
Yeah, exactly. So it is literally impossible to tell. But there is no point getting excited until he plays for us. Until I see him put on that Chelsea shirt, I can't tell you whether he's going to be the next, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The Vinicius Junior.
Yeah.
Or the next Marco Marin. It's just impossible to tell at the minute. I'm hoping, obviously, from what I've watched, and again, YouTube's a very,
very biased one way, isn't it?
It's a bit of a narcissist YouTube is. It will tell you things that you don't really believe, but you believe in it. And then you think he's a world beater, but until I see it in the flesh at Chelsea in not that Premier League environment, I just can't tell you. Unfortunately, I can't tell you.
How many Ballon d'Ors has Esteval won already? I keep forgetting, because the way he's talked about, like we said,
apparently
can we
he's
not
doing about 5? So
yeah, he's going to find all the cures for all the diseases and everything else around the world. He's going to solve money and all the economy. And I've just waffled there because I struggled to think. My mind wasn't working that quick. Where do you see him in 5 years, Jake Quenda? Where do you see him?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very difficult to assess someone like that when they've not played in the league they're moving to. We don't know how he's going to adapt to the football, to the culture, the country. And we just, there's so many unknowns. He could get a serious injury in his first season and be out for half a season or a whole season, and then that stalls your career.
Yeah.
It's impossible to say. You know, ultimately he either makes it for us, and we're all talking about him in 5 years, or he makes it for us and gets a move somewhere else. You know, to Real Madrid or somewhere like that, right? And it makes a real star of himself, or he ends up a bit like Angelo, right? Who we signed, who was supposed to be brilliant, and then where's he now? Saudi, isn't he? So there you
Yeah,
go.
we sold for a profit. Of course we did somehow.
Well, that's all right then.
That's going to bite us back in the future, isn't it? Because if that gets investigated. Look, this is the thing. When you're a wonder kid with just such hype behind you, I kind of look at it, you're blessed with a curse straight away, because not everyone is going to be like Wayne Rooney as a teenager. That was a unicorn. He was a unicorn. Everyone remembers Wayne Rooney at Everton at the back end of his career. No. But like Owen, look at the start of their career. But again, that's the thing. They didn't get longevity, but they had their prime was they're bloody brilliant. And could Quenda be that player? Possibly. I don't know. I mean, he could be a 10-year player. He could be a 4-year player. I don't know. I think Esteval is going to be the next breakout star because but again, Esteval's only played in the Brazilian league. Quenda, he's played in Europe. He's played, but more so the Champions League. He's had more competition. He's had more elite players against him. I mean, look, I think it's difficult because I look at Esteban and I think if he isn't the next breakout star, the sadness will never end with these wonder kids, because it'll be another one. And that's the thing. We used to get excited about these type of signings, and we get a little bit numb to it because we're so used to another player. I mean, we signed another player from Sporting Lisbon, didn't we? Was it Ansugo? Is that how I'm saying his name? Anyone help me out?
Yeah.
He's joining this summer according to Transfermarkt. So yeah, I mean, he could be the next whatever. I mean, Asugo. Who knows? He was a little cheaper and he's 20, so he's very experienced considering our squad. Be very interesting. Let us know, listeners, what you think of Quenda and where where do you think he'll be in 5 years, or if you're excited at all. I don't know. Christmas questions. Let's see what the listeners have sent in to us. I made sure I didn't put any from you, Jake, because that would be really awkward. But here's answer your own question. But I do have JRMT1, and they asked, did you watch the Brazil versus Argentina game? I did. And what did you think of Enzo's performance?
I'll be honest. He was really good.
He was a beast, wasn't he?
Good. He was very,
wow.
To be fair, I watched all 4 Argentina goals. They're all really good team goals. And we've said it numerous times on this podcast, Mikey, but Enzo's been our best player for a while now.
You're not wrong.
And he's played really good for Argentina. I actually think now, if we had if he played like he did under Pochettino, like he is now,
not allowed to use that name.
I genuinely think we'd be classing him as one of the better midfielders in the league.
Look, I know. There's such criticism on Twitter, like, you got an agenda. No, I'm going to say what I see. And Enzo for Argentina is a completely different beast. His assist for Alexis McAllister's goal is the perfect example of why. That pass was pure class. It was pure class vision. It was pure class execution. Perfect. Here's the thing, though, and I know I'm gonna piss people off. He never attempts that kind of ball for Chelsea, and that tells you something.
Not allowed to.
No, everything. It's not that he's incapable. It's that Maresca's system doesn't allow it. Under Maresca, Enzo shackled. He's forced into this structure that prioritises to save the sideways pass over the creative risk-taking. And against Brazil, you watch him. He was given the freedom to roam. He was on the right side. He moved over to the left. He's never allowed to do that at Chelsea. And look, I'm going to say what I feel, and that's the problem. As long as Maresca is in charge, we'll never see the best from players like him, because Enzo Fernandez has a world-class ability, but he's forced to play within a system that limits his strengths, and that means you're going to waste his talent. And until that changes, we're going to watch a shadow of what he could be and other players what they can be. And that's what really frustrates me and upsets me, because we have such talent there, but it's being held back. What did you think of Enzo's performance in the Argentina-Brazil game, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think he looked excellent. I think he always well, certainly in recent times, he has every time he's played for Argentina. But again, he also has started to look a lot better for us. But yeah, completely agree. He plays with a freedom with Argentina that he just doesn't get the luxury of doing that for us, which is a shame because then we don't see the best of him. We don't get the benefit of that. Yeah, it is a bit sad that we don't get to see that, but you can't deny that he's got the talent. I think we all saw that in the World Cup, and obviously it took him a while to adapt to Chelsea and into the league, and then obviously had the injury or the hernia that he had last year, which on the face of it probably like it made quite a difference to him. But yeah, it'd be so good if we could see that version of Enzo, and just if Maresca could just say to him, look, as long as you do your bit for the team, as long as you get back when you need to and help out, but otherwise if you want to drop into a number 10 or get in the box or whatever it is, or play a bit deeper, just do it. Just do what you need to do. But sadly we're not going to see that, are we?
No. And that's the thing, when people pull up on Twitter, oh, you got an agenda on. No. I'm going to see, Chris, myself, Berth, Ollie, we see and we say what we see. It's the catchphrase, but it's true. We did criticize Enzo Fernandez, and that was because of what we saw, the product that we saw. We didn't like it. And now he's doing well. And this is my point. If he's doing well now, he's playing well for us as well. And if we had an agenda against any player or manager, we'd still be bashing Enzo Fernandez now, and we're not. We're praising him because
what's annoying though, Mikey. What's annoying, and I'll go back to that. Like you saying that we all slagged him off, and we did.
Yeah,
we were all very critical, and rightfully so. But people these days with Twitter and whatever and social media, people aren't allowed to change their opinion, which I think is so wrong.
Exactly.
It's so wrong because you can change your opinion. Let's be honest. Let's take, for instance, Chris Wood, for example. Terrible at Leicester. Not great at Newcastle. Goes to Nottingham Forest. Why should I now think he's a world beater? Because he's changed. He has changed. Oh, he's become a lot better. I'm not going to say he's a world beater still. Don't get me wrong, but he's changed. He's a good striker now, and that's, people are allowed to change their opinions, but for some reason it's frowned upon because all of a sudden you're now fickle. All of a sudden you're now, oh, well, you said this, and it's against you, and I don't like it. I really don't like it, and that's just modern day sort of football and Twitter and social media. But it's like you're not allowed an opinion and not allowed to change it, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, one player that I know very well that you would never touch. He was awful at Spurs. Kevin Prince Boateng. He goes to Portsmouth. He was amazing. He goes to AC Milan, and he was like a maverick there. He was amazing there. But if you looked at the Spurs player, he was awful. I mean, look, one of our own. Well, he wasn't one of our own. Nemanja Matic, when he was at Partizan Belgrade, he weren't great. And then he goes to Benfica, obviously via us, and he was good. Jorge Jesus he's a genius. He absolutely molded Matic perfectly for us. And that's the thing. It happens. Players evolve. Look at Salah. Everyone goes, oh, we should never have sold him. Why? He was no good at us. He was okay.
No, he's fantastic.
He would never have become Salah of today if he'd have stayed at Chelsea. No way. Wouldn't have happened. Same with De Bruyne. De Bruyne will go down as one of the greatest midfielders of a generation and potentially ever in the Premier League. Would he have been that player? They go, oh, Chelsea's biggest regret. Not really. He wouldn't have developed like that with us. I don't believe he would have. That's as simple as that. So, yeah. We will wrap up today's show with, hello. Lone Army Carousel. It'll be a guest edition, so Berth can't bag a point.
Can I just say, can I just take this win?
No.
Chris and Ollie aren't here, so surely I should automatically win.
No.
Why? Jake, what are your thoughts on that? Chris and Ollie aren't here. I know me and you will compete against each other, but I should still get a point, surely, against those two. Jake?
I think what I would say and what Chris would say is it's not a real game if he's not here.
He's done it. See, that's proper.
No.
I love that.
Fair play.
It's not a real game.
Honestly, I was designing a t-shirt earlier today with that other t-shirt. Right. So what's the category? England at 2010 World Cup. Now, I really loved the 2010 World Cup. It's easily my favourite edition of the
Most
tournament.
overrated World Cup there's
Fuck
ever
off.
been. I thought, no, honestly, it is. Mikey,
No,
it is.
No.
I thought
Jabulani. You've got Ghana
No,
nearly
no,
getting to the
no,
semis.
no.
Luis Suarez. You've got the football.
No.
The Jabulani. The Fufu Sailors. Piss off. It was brilliant.
No, it weren't. It
was.
It's terrible. Most
No.
overrated World Cup there's ever been, and that's not even a.
Well,
that's hands
I
down
love
as
it,
well.
and that's what matters. But I want
And
you
that's
to
your opinion, and you're okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
There's a serious agenda here. There's an agenda against that World Cup from you. Look, I want you to
Maybe.
name me. I want you to name me every member of England's 2010 World Cup 23-man squad, because there are 23 names. So I'm going to start. Berth, you know what? I'm going to start with you.
Okay, I want to go with Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, he's on there. Jake, name.
Ashley Cole.
Yep.
John Terry.
Yep.
Theo Walcott.
Oh. Oh. Wait.
Is he there? Sorry, yeah.
No, he's
Walcott's
not.
in.
Oh.
Are you sure?
No, he's not on the list. I can double check. Maybe he was on the backup. Berth,
I
you
feel
can.
like he was.
No, I can't. I think Berth, you just won within 3. You wanted the point, didn't you? Theo Walcott was not.
I did want
Hang
the
on.
point. Yeah, I feel like he was there.
Hang on, I'm going to double check. He might have been on the backup list. I want to get this right. VAR. I get told off when we don't bring in VAR. Let me just double check Walcott. Oh yeah, he was. All right. I've done that wrong.
So he was there. Okay, right, he was there.
I've done it wrong. I've missed it. Yeah, go on.
Okay, Steven Gerrard.
Yes, sorry,
Steven
I read
Gerrard,
it
yeah.
wrong. I've just missed his name. It's right in front of me. Go on. This happens all the time. Yes, Gerard's on there.
Lampard.
Yes.
Gareth Barry.
Yes, classic name.
It would have been too late for him, or maybe it would have been in one of his last tournaments. Gary Neville.
Gary Neville. No, he's not on there. He's not on there. Berth, you've got your point. Can you name me any of the other players?
Emil Heskey, I believe, was there.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like he'd still be at the World Cup at that one because of his age. I don't know how old he
I
was.
feel like he actually played a bit as well. I think Capello really liked him, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. Suppose.
This is why it's a terrible World Cup, Mikey, because no one remembers England's performances.
Well, I'll give you the names. Aaron Lennon. There's a classic Barclays name. David James, Glenn Johnson, James Milner, Jamie Carragher, Jermaine Defoe, Joe Cole, Joe Hart, Ledley King. Wow. Matthew Upson, Michael Carrick, Michael Dawson, Peter Crouch, legend Rob Green, Sean Wright-Phillips, and Stephen Warnock. Sean Wright-Phillips was there.
You know what, I was going to say Stephen Warnock would be my next answer because I just remember him slightly beating Leighton Baines to the post.
Sean Wright-Phillips was at the 2010 World Cup. I have no memory of it. Where was he there? Was he back? He must have been back at City. Got to have been. Wow. How poor were England? Because I'm not being, like I said, Sean was not the best player when he returned to City after we pretty much broke him. So I'm like, maybe injuries. I don't know. I don't know enough, which is very true because, we need VAR again.
It was just a terrible squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, awful.
That was the World Cup where I think we had the USA in our group and we drew 1-1.
Yeah.
And there's that famous New York Times headline where they said USA win 1-1.
Yeah, man. Oh, I do remember. Oh, but this was before I knew of my heritage, for the record. But I remember the Denmark-Japan game where, wow, those free kicks, Honda and Endo. I honestly, iconic free kicks, absolutely iconic. But wow, I still watch that back because they were just ridiculous knuckleballs. Really, absolutely insane. Right, listeners, we're at the end of the episode. Before we go, I first of all, I want to say thank you, Jake, for being an excellent guest lion today. We really appreciated you on here today.
Big up, Jake. Big up, Jake.
Yeah, legend. He gets to listen to
Thanks
his
for
back
having me.
later.
Thank you.
Yeah, he gets to listen to his back as well. How awesome.
Oh, joys.
Look, we're proud to remind you as well about our partnership with Head in the Game, mental health charity using football to support wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Monday with Ollie's Thing, which is Ollie's Thing, and he's going to explain that on Monday. So that'll be really interesting. That's not sarcasm. It will be interesting, I promise.
It did sound a bit sarcastic, that.
I know it did. But till next time, that'll be us signing off.
You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.